third Palm was taking a vacation. At least that was the plan. Yet, just before our trip, we had uncovered a haunted relic from the past that would transform our vacation into an investigation. Let me explain. We had no choice but to surrender ourselves to the forces at hand and indulge in a new perspective. Just west of the town of Bailey, a small mountain town with a population of around 10,000 individuals and having been established in the 1860s, there lies the famous Coney Island. Although Coney Island isn't the relic we're referring to. No. Because just west of Coney Island is a relatively small, somewhat unknown resort with a large history dating back to when the Ute tribe owned the land. This resort is known as the Glen Isle Resort in Bailey. As investigators, we're required to give as much as we take from an investigation. This instance would be no different. Sacrificing our time away from the monotony of work and chores and giving back to a spiritual entity that wants nothing more than to be heard from. When thinking on haunted locations across Colorado, the most notable would be the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, or Third Bridge in East Aurora. But when we stumbled upon the Glen Isle Resort, we were amazed to find another haunted location that's not well known in Colorado, let alone the paranormal community at large. Although Glen Isle is considered haunted, it's a very different kind of haunted than what you might see in horror movies and other paranormal investigations. Glen Isle Resort is a special sort of haunted in which the spirits and supernatural energy that persist aren't entirely full of ghouls and ghosts. It's a special sort of place, blessed by the Native Americans and surrounded by a rich history that makes the place more spiritual than spooky. And in coming to that realization, it occurred to us how often a haunted location, by namesake alone, can give off a poor impression of what one can expect during an investigation or even a simple stay. Sometimes the spirits that exist aren't malicious poltergeists or malevolent shadows in the dark. Sometimes the spirits are kind, one with the natural world surrounding them, whose positive energy still remains even in their respite. Yes, Glen Isle Resort is haunted, but it's a cozy sort of haunted where one can benefit from the ghosts of the past, as well as the spiritual nature engulfing the location.
In Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
That's where I was from.
Huh.
And so I taught for about 10 years. But
Yeah,
anyway.
it's a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good, but definitely not the direction that ultimately led me. So here I am.
Yeah. Where would you like to begin since you know so much about this place?
I think we really kind of have to start with the idea of where I was introduced with Glen Isle.
Okay.
And my parents were from this little town in Texas, right outside of Amarillo, and they read about Glen Isle in a newspaper article that just was advertising inexpensive family vacations. And so the first time I can remember coming is 1971, and I was probably 3, and I walked into this room and it looked exactly the way it does today. And I can remember thinking, oh my gosh, all these dead animals are on the wall.
Yeah.
And my parents quickly soothed me and said, well, Mary Ruth, they just get to live forever this way. So sometimes even today when people will remark on the dead animals, I'm like, well, they get to live forever this way because their lives were not in vain.
Mm.
They get to decorate and adorn the walls of Glen Isle. So I should name them all. They should.
I'm surprised you haven't.
I know.
Yeah.
They should all have their own names as to who they are because they are special to me. But
Who's
anyway,
who's
so
your
I started
favorite?
coming, and Glen Isle was just this very much kids' paradise. You know, they had bingo night, movie night, square dance night. Every day was something exciting. Your parents would kind of shoo you out of the door at 8 o'clock, and you wouldn't see them till 5. You'd go back for dinner, but fishing and petting the horses, and it was just amazing. And the Trips, who owned Glen Isle, had children, and most of them were older than we were, but there was one that was kind of younger, and she would lead us around and tell us stories about the property and run from me when I was annoying. And it was this magical place, and you would see the same people every year when you came because they were making reservations for the next year as they drove across the bridge. So it was just this rich, incredible place to come as a child and grow up. So when I became a parent, I wanted to come back.
Okay.
And so I returned as a mom, bringing my kids here. And my boys, I have 5 boys, and they were able to grow up and do a lot of the same things that I had done, which was really, really special. Now, at this age, Glen Isle had been around since the way that I knew it, probably since the 40s, but it had already been established long before that. So, it was starting to show its wear. And my husband would be like, oh, why are we coming there? And I was like, because it's magical. It's perfect. It's incredible. And he was like, well, if I ever owned that place, I would do blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, well, that's never going to happen. So we don't have to worry about that. And, but anyway, we came one last time in 2011. And at that time, the previous owner was now probably 88. And she was in the lodge, and that's where she kind of lived, and she staked herself out. And she was standing here, and I said, Mrs. Tripp, that cabin up there on the hill that's kind of dilapidated and starting to show its wear, what is the story on that cabin? And she goes, oh, that's the best ghost story I could ever tell you. And I'm like, well, what is it? And she said, it's the Mushroom Man story. And then she went on to tell the story of this man who had gotten into some trouble selling hallucinogenic mushrooms to some students of his. He was from back in Virginia, and he was caught, and he was going to have to go to prison for, wrongdoings. And back then, that was a time when they would let you kind of get your affairs in order. So he got to come back here. Well, he didn't get to come back here. He came back here.
Okay.
And went up to the cabin and took belladonna, the angel of death mushroom, and a bottle of aspirin. And his Jeep is still sitting out there. But
that's the Jeep I saw.
It is.
We walked
it
up
is.
there. Yeah. Okay.
So he started to cross over because his intention was to go up to Kenosha Pass, where he would expire. And he didn't make it. And he fell down the hill, and the Trips, their dogs, hurt him. And they came over and took him to the hospital. But his family came back and said, yeah, we're never returning. And we're, going to close the cabin, and it'll just be here forever.
All things paranormal that exist in the realm of ghosts, entities, and the afterlife have to do with positive and negative energy left behind by previous inhabitants and absorbed by the location itself. This includes the land, its structures, and even items that once held significant meaning to its former inhabitants. Many haunted locations across the globe have a certain amount of positive and negative energy attached to them. When there exists more negative energy, more negative entities appear, such as poltergeists and the like. Spirits that resonate a strong, malicious presence within a location or its accessories. But the same can be said for the positive energies that form more playful entities and wishful spirits who only wish to guide one towards a more enlightening path.
There was this historical relevance to it, but the Tripp children took that story and terrorized the Guest children, because we all knew about the Mushroom Man.
Okay.
And we were horrified that he was haunting the property and, roaming around and going to, take us up to his cabin. And
Sure.
whatever, force us to take mushrooms. I don't know.
There's worse things.
Right, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Anyway, but as a kid, you don't know what any of that really looks
Right.
like. So I knew that Mrs. Tripp had died in 2012. She had passed away, and she had passed away on property. And she had checked her last guest in. We have the register book of where all of that took place on the day before she died. And so I had kind of followed what was going on with her history. And then in 2016, we happened to be out here and came upon Glen Isle and found it for sale. And so we started doing this. What does this look like? What are we going to do? How, could we do anything? No, we don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Long story short, we took a leap of faith. We sold all our retirement. We did everything we could to acquire the property with the intent that we would bring it back with what it was. And what it was this great, rich, amazing historical property that we didn't even realize the depth of the history that would go and we would learn about. So first here it was Native American land, and the Utes, or what we were told, had been here to live and take use of the water. They had left, arrowheads, pottery. We still find those things in the ground, and the Native American bent trees that were left scattered throughout the property. And so that was our first lesson of history that we had no awareness of. And so this particular property had 14 guest rooms and the full service dining room and fishing and golf and tennis. And we know these things because of these 8x10 pictures that are surrounding us. And we can just see, tennis rackets in their hands and golf clubs, people playing. And it was just like, wow, this is really incredible. And there's photo albums in there. There's guest books that still collect their guests. We have a guest book going back to 1920. It's a great historical part to be a part of, and just getting to save it and try to keep it going. It never feels like I own Glen Isle. It definitely feels like Glen Isle owns me, and it has it.
If there are any spirits with us today in this room, please make yourselves known. We're definitely going to pick them up. We're mainly focused on Tiny, of course.
We were tuning in, attempting to communicate with the spirits of the Glen Isle Resort. Typically, when there's a great amount of negative energy producing paranormal phenomena, our radio will burst out in harsh static and noise. But this time was different. Whenever the radio would go quiet after a question, we interpreted it as a friendly and calming answer.
What is your name?
I wanted to make sure the radio was still working too. Are you in here with us right now? You want to ask it its name again?
What's your name?
How long have you been here?
do you want us to be here?
I saw something behind you. Are we welcome guests here? Is that a no?
Might be.
That was kind of weird.
Huh.
This radio usually doesn't go just...
Silent.
I think we had better reception up here, actually.
Maybe.
Do you not want us in your room? How long have you been here for? Has it been a long time? Are we safe here? Would you like us to leave?
I think that's
I think that's how it keeps answering. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll leave out of respect.
Thank you.
And it came right back. So.
Sorry.
Not wanting to provoke the spirit in the room further, we left it alone without question. Even a ghost needs solitude.
We've had Native American elders since then who have come out and done blessings on the land, and it's an incredible experience to have a Native American elder who's, almost 90 years old on your property, speaking in his native tongue, blessing your land, and then taking you to these different trees and explaining the purpose and intent behind their shapes and what they were meant for. And
It seems like, unlike a lot of other locations we cover, there's not a lot of tragedy that has occurred here. It all seems like kindness, care, trust, construction. Although there is obvious decay from the decades that have followed its inception, there have been people such as yourself, as well as all the other groundskeepers and such we've seen,
right.
that are managing to keep this place not just afloat, but keep it alive, keep it well,
Sure.
and keep people coming back to it. Do you want to elaborate on any of that, perhaps?
I think that's a good point. And you have mentioned that we haven't had a lot of tragedy, and I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
But there has been a few. And, we hear, there's an article on one of the pictures up there that talks about a fountain that was built right outside of the lodge, and a small child had drowned in it. She was a worker's a worker's child and had gotten into the fountain. So it happened, and I know from the Native Americans' perspective, there was families that were buried here and things like that. But with that being said, there's a peace and a calmness that this property, is felt by so many people that drive over the bridge. I always tell people, yes, you're welcome to come here, but you need to smile as big as when you're walking across the bridge as you are leaving as you are when you're coming. I want your experience here to be a positive one, where you know that you have put good things into the life of this property.
That's fine. Are there any rooms in particular that have a certain energy to them? Yeah.
That's a really good question. I feel like that if I listen to guest talk, there's a lot of talk about room K, and it's like the twin bedroom.
Right. Yeah.
That one tends to get noticed a lot. D sometimes will have people have experiences in it. And maybe A has had
maybe
some.
A.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I know Kendra over there.
Yeah.
Yesterday when we were here, one of the first areas we went to was the games room down below.
Sure.
And she had mentioned she felt, I don't want to say like an eerie presence, but there was something in that room that she could feel. Is there?
I haven't had anybody really mention that particular room.
Yeah.
There are definitely photographs that have occurred over the years that I've been here where people will say that they see figures sitting and standing in the windows and the doors.
Okay.
But it has not been in that particular area where people have sensed anything. I would like to mention that the tree that's sitting in the middle of our room was a live tree, and the root ball and the rest of the tree go down through the rec room in the center of it. I'm not sure what your belief is on the energy of trees and things, but I wouldn't put it past that you could have felt maybe that in there.
I was going to bring that up because I know, or I think I know, it's right below us, like you said, correct? It is. And I know you mentioned the tree yesterday, and so I think that makes sense to me. I'm not sure how you feel.
But I do find, and I've never thought about it before until we were just talking about this, but the heartbeat of Glen Isle has always, we've known, been the lodge. And with the idea that it was built around this live tree, that was a living thing that lived in the lodge. So maybe that heartbeat extends. I don't know. But that's interesting. I have not heard anything about the record now.
These lands are much older and wiser than any of us are, and we could feel their energy surrounding us. It wasn't until we conducted an EMF reading, meaning electromagnetic field reading, that we noticed something strange occur.
See, it's this spot right here, but there's nothing. Wait, I wonder what room
Is above.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, it's probably one of the rooms right above us right there.
Probably.
Our EMF reader was producing a reading at the entrance to the dining hall, which sat just below a set of the most haunted rooms along the second floor above us. We even double-checked our sources and were able to confirm false readings elsewhere.
Like the electromagnetic fields from any sort of technology is going to be way too weak for this to just blow up. We're getting some readings. Oh, wow. That just like... It's like, it's the dolls.
That's crazy.
It's like... There's literally like nothing electrical on this wall. that I can tell. Yeah, he's just... Oh, wait. Could it be... Oh, it's that wire.
Oh.
It's probably wrapped behind there. Oh, I thought we had something spooky. Yeah, the ability to disprove oneself only helps in one's legitimacy. So, I can't really tell. I think... So I get a reading from the light bulbs, right? But that doesn't explain, because there's no lights in that spot over there where it was trying to spike. That's creepy. Yeah, no, I know. It's all the...
Having our EMF reader spike at that particular location where no lights or wires existed in close proximity, it became an unusual occurrence. Yet, our investigation wasn't over.
It's got to be right upstairs, though.
There's definitely moments that they make themselves known.
Gotcha.
It's not just this space, though. We have a couple of cabins that are very spirited as well.
Yeah, I mean, you said the land has been blessed numerous times.
Yes.
Native Americans have been buried here. I mean, I think this whole area on this side of the creek, you know,
Yeah, I would agree with you.
has something.
There's a lot of energy here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'm glad to confirm that.
I feel like that these types of places are a dying breed, that if we don't do whatever we can to protect it, that it's probably not going to be here in another 100 years. And then I feel like it has relevance and purpose, and it's a structure that should be saved. And so
There once stood a lively tree at the center of the lobby between the dining hall and the entrance inside. This tree used to rise up to where the second floor rooms now reside, and its base flees down into a small games room where we had felt a particular presence earlier in the day. While speaking with the manager after the interview, she revealed a few other facts that weren't mentioned during our interview, as we had cut the recorder short. A full-body apparition of a girl in white, known as a trickster who tends to steal certain unkept items from the bedrooms in the second floor. The second was a mention of the infamous Sasquatch, who has been spotted numerous times around the area, as confirmed by the Sasquatch Society and Bigfoot Museum in the town of Bailey. And the third, most profound story was that of a portal which guided spirits to and from the resort itself. And after our pendulum reading, we strongly believe that the old sacred tree that still resides as a part of the resort's foundation today could very well be that exact same portal.
Okay.
You can always switch between like wide shots of me with it, close-ups of me, close-ups of it.
Okay.
You could do different things. I can always put it.
Okay.
I see the energy just vibing through it. Is there anyone here with us? Oh. Okay. Okay. Ooh. So when it swings to the right, that's a confirmation. It's a yes. If it swings to the left, that's a no. Is this the place for healing? Are there any malicious or evil spirits here? Wow, it's really saying no. If we come back in October, will you show us around? It's more of a maybe. Let's get a little excited now.
I was going to say it's shaking.
Yeah, it's really. I don't think I'm shaking. I'm pretty still.
It's the spirit of the tree.
Is it? Are you the spirit of the tree? Can't tell. I don't think it's the tree.
Not every place that's considered haunted can be considered scary, frightening, or under the wrath of vicious spirits. There are plenty of locations where the spirits and ghosts are friendly entities, helping to guide us through our lives and into the next. Glen Isle Resort is definitely one of the kinder locations in terms of spiritual activity, with entities that are both playful as well as helpful along our own undiscovered journeys. With that said, we'll be conducting a full-time investigation of Glen Isle Resort in the autumn season, just in time for Halloween. What we found in our short time there was substantial, but there's still a lot that we've kept from you so far. Because beneath the blessed lands and aiding spirits lie dark truths that help balance the lands in both positive and negative energies alike. From a drowned girl to a mad professor and other odd entities that perpetrate this estate, there's far more to uncover than what you or even we have seen so far. Third Palm Paranormal will return for a full investigation of the Glen Isle Resort in autumn 2026. Prepare to uncover the truth.